Good evening and welcome to week 2 of Sport Economics. As I've said, we'll try to do this just about every Sunday night to kind of review where we went the past week and where we should be going this week. So let's not waste any time. Last week was definitely one of the better opening sets of discussions we've had in a long time. I really want to thank everybody for jumping in on that little supplemental one on the end where I asked you about the kind of stupid economics video, and everybody really did. Not too many people said it was stupid. This is really encouraging. This means we're not going to have to waste a lot of time kind of doing reviews of economics, and that things will really make sense to people as we go forward. Couple other things too. Great discussion board. You guys have really pitched in and given us some good ideas. There's some really good thoughts on what you think the pressing issues in the economics of sports are, and I hope that we'll be able to address those for you as we go along, and to maybe not just learn a lot but keep it interesting. Let's see. That's really it. I've got a good picture where everybody is. We've got a lot of different aspirations. We were able to chat a little bit in the introductions about what some of our aspirations were for sport management. We've got a lot of aspiring coaches. We've got some aspiring administrators. This is good. We got people who aren't shy about their fan interests, which is great. I saw a couple of soccer folks in there, as I mentioned in an earlier video that I hoped everybody will have maybe taken a quick look at. Everything, guys. I know there was a Spurs fan, there's people from the Sounders, some MLS references, some references to DC United, an Arsenal reference. I'm a Bolton Wanderers fan. That'll tell you something about culture and sport, won't it? So, by the way, they're up to 8th in the championship, and with about 8 games to go, there is a shot they could sneak into that playoff and get promoted back to what I think is their rightful place in the Premier League. And for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, we're going to touch on that. And how does competitive balance on the field affect the economics of the game? Well, different leagues do it different ways, and we'll be talking about the European system a little bit because international sport is so important. Okay, what's coming up this week? This week we're going to concentrate on a couple of things, and you'll see right in the beginning there's some PowerPoints. They're drawn from the older version of the text, but they go right along with the newer version. And what we're going to be talking about was it called the Economist Toolkit. I said economics math stuff is in there. And then the other thing is the main theme of the week. It's sport as a profit-making business. Do sports franchises, what do? Are they concentrating their efforts on making money? Are they concentrating their efforts on the product on the field? How do the things balance against each other? And I think we're going to get into some interesting topics there. So that's where I really want you to look at. I've thrown in 2 discussion boards where I think the questions are pretty clear, and that each one is important, and I want you to think about them again from a very high level perspective. As I keep saying, think of it more like the owner, think of it more like the no lower than the general manager, think of it like the constituency. I think the word would be stakeholder. You've probably heard a lot, that word used a lot in your other business courses. Kind of have a stakeholder approach when you think about it. And several of you mentioned that this is going to be difficult for you, and like I said, it's difficult for me. Let's try to keep that fan perspective out of it. It's going to be hard. I know that, and but I think we can keep this very interesting. So the idea this week is, why does a franchise exist? You know, we all know why our amateur leagues exist, and we all know why those of us who still play on a pickup, shall we say, basis. I mean, you know, come on, I pay to play golf, right? We pay to belong to gyms. We play pickup basketballs with games with our buddies in the gym. Yes, though, even at my advanced age, I finally retired from that after a completely blown out knee a few years ago. But hey, I was doing that up until I was in my mid-50s. The whole point is, those things are done for fun. They're disorganized, or they're organized slightly to a certain degree, but at some point the nature of the venture changes and it becomes a venture. What is the reason for that venture being? Is it because of the love of the sport? Is it to be in the entertainment business? Is it to make a profit for the owners? Is it to provide a community service? All these questions come into play. So these are the kind of things we want to answer and look at this week. As usual, if there are any questions, please contact me. A couple of you contacted me by email. I think we got back to you right away. Please understand that the discussion boards now are going to be graded a little bit more critically. I do want people to look at how you're writing, not just what you're writing. We do use this as the main information exchange and where the learning takes place. So don't just jump in and start responding to people. Read up. Look at things first. You'll also notice that just like last week, as things pop up in the news, I'll provide occasionally a little, maybe a link to an article somewhere that I've seen. Last week we talked about, I threw in an article about the stadium construction in Atlanta. Well, you know what? We're not quite there yet, but it's something you need to read and keep looking at. So if you come across any interesting articles or things like that that you want to get in front of the class, do so. Feel free. It's a forum. We're going to be able to learn from what's going on in the real world, and I think that's important. So if there's any questions, please get to me. I hope we have another great week like we did the first one, and definitely I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much.